ಶ್ರೀ ಮಹಾಗಣಪತೆ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರೀ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ ನಮಃ. ಶ್ರೀಪಾದವಲ್ಲಭ ನರಸಿಂಹ ಸರಸ್ವತಿ. ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರು ದತ್ತಾತ್ರೇಯಾಯ ನಮಃ.
Now we'll start with the 13th chapter. Let us have the Shloka, please. Shloka 7.
Amanidvam adambidvam ahimsa kshatirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthairyamaatma vinigraha. Amanitvam adambidvam ahimsa kshatirarjavam acharyopasanam shaucham स्थैर्यमात्मा विनिग्रहः.
The Shloka.
क्षेत्रं तज्ञं जानीहि क्षेत्रे ममतं मां कुरु च आत्मानं यो जानाति आत्मनि सोऽयं ननु रमते. क्षेत्रं तज्ञं जानीहि क्षेत्रे ममता मां कुरु च आत्मानं यो जानाति आत्मनि सोऽयं न रमते.
This chapter is Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga, Yoga. The division between Kshetra, that's the field, Kshetrajna, knower of the field. That is representative of this chapter. We started off by bringing the example of the cow. But Appaji goes one step further, higher step, and tells us that this chapter represents the cow behind Lord Dattatreya. Remember, Lord Dattatreya has got the cow behind, and Lord Dattatreya symbolizes the Gunatita, but the cow represents the Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga, Yoga. That cow is the wish-fulfilling cow of plenty, Kamadhenu. So, having the knowledge can fulfill all your wishes in the world. But do you really want all the wishes to be fulfilled? The real wish to be fulfilled is, please let me have the capacity to shed my ego. Other than that, you should not have any further wish. Now, what is Kshetra and what is Kshetrajna? Here comes from chapter 7, Shloka 7 to 11, the qualities of a Jnani. So he's going to project them on. Now, there are 20 qualities. Have a look at that while I'm describing that to you. Kshetrajna is the person who knows the whole creation because he is the one who created it. He is the Purusha. Whereas Kshetra is the entire creation of the Prakriti. The higher level of education and Jnana, whereas the first chapter, first Shloka was Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yuyutsavaha, Mamakaha Pandavashchaiva, Kima Kurvata Sanjaya. There, to bring the primary school children to the level of understanding, because they are supposed to know the story of Mahabharata, because Bhagavad Gita is incorporated in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. So for you to understand that, he says, this is the story, this is where we start. So have an idea where we start. But that is the battlefield which is in the field of Kurukshetra. But where is the real Kurukshetra? Kurukshetra is within one's own mind. The good qualities and the bad qualities which are inside each one of us. So we have to take up the fight. And how do we take up the fight? Like Arjuna. What did he do? He realized the mammoth task and the catastrophe that it's going to bring when you have to uphold the righteousness. But he was a trained warrior who had the adhikara to fight and do that. Now, each one of us, suddenly when we say, uphold the righteousness, we can't become the policeman of the society. There is a scope for the law and order in the country to be taken up by the relevant authorities. Whereas you start off by taking the authority in your own mind and in your own family. So have a set of regulations where you take up that role and get one person to guide you to take the right one. And usually, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, they take up the position of the God in the earlier stages. But we'll take up this issue further, but I'm talking of the lower level, because first question everybody asks is, so-and-so is doing the wrong thing. Shall I go and interfere with that? We haven't got it right. Everyone will turn around and say, who are you to say so? In this democratic society, we must know what our limitations are and what your position. If it's a policeman, he is authorized to do so. He can take up the task of taking over the control of that person who has done the mischief. Now, with the guidance of the Lord, taking shelter under His guidance, having full faith in Him, then only you guarantee success in your field. Now, how do you hear the Lord? Appaji on the first day before yesterday, started off with explanation for this chapter. He said the radio. The radio and the waves outside the radio. And behind the radio is the power. And you are the one who has the knowledge as how to switch it on, how to tune it, and know which station you want. Depends on which station you want, tuning it to the right channel, like 106.5, am I right? Then you get what is happening today and what Appaji is going to talk. But if you don't know that 106.5, you can keep on tuning, but you won't get the right station immediately. So you must know what you're looking for. Then it's quick for you to get that. Then that is your Antaratma. You have a message coming from Antaratma, you should know how to shut off the other stations. But before doing so, you cannot be tamasic. You cannot be asleep. You have to have the light on, the main switch on. When the main switch is on, electricity goes. And that electricity helps you to tune it to the station you want to. And the same power point, when you take out the radio and put a kettle, it does a different job. So for the job you want, you take up the tuning of hearing the Antaratma inside you. And how does it come? By total sadhana. Practice of a lifetime tells you how to switch off from the outside world and how to switch on the inside world. And Appaji here as an example for all of us. What is it? Sahaja Samadhi. He is always switched on. That is why he is able to know where we are, what is happening. But we haven't got that capacity. We are still very, very low in the ladder, and we must learn how to do so. And Kshetra Yuva Yoga is a summary of that example where taking the radio, you would know how to do that. Then what is it you are looking for? You are looking for Akshara. All manifestations of Akshara. We went through chapter 8 on Akshara yesterday. But what is Akshara? It has to be divided into two, A and Kshara. A is Om, Kshara is perishable. A is Purusha, Kshara is Prakriti. So Akshara is combination of Purusha and Prakriti. That is one way of understanding it. And another way to know it is, Akshara is the one that does not perish. The alphabets we learn in the earlier days of our childhood will remain with us till the day of our death, either physically or mentally. When we do go senile, we don't remember the alphabet. So that is Akshara. That means 60, 70, 80, 90 years, whatever period we have, it stays with us. Similarly, Parabrahman is eternal Akshara. He is always there, and there is no point of saying he has gone to sleep. Every night we sing Dolayam, asking the Lord to go to sleep. But really speaking, has he got any sleep at all? No. But we associate him like us. Oh, poor God, he is tired. Let him rest. Provided you don't give him trouble, he's okay. But do we keep away from giving trouble? Each one of us gives so much of trouble, so he has no chance to be going to take rest. Now, what is Kshetra definition? We heard about Kshetrajna. It is Akshara. Kshetra is, I'll give you the full list. Pancha Mahabhutas, the nature consisting of the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space. The ego, the intellect which is inside us, the Mula Prakriti. I know I'm dwelling a bit more longer today because you have come to the third class. You should have a capacity to understand a bit more of these words. So Mula Prakriti is at the time of the physical death. As I said, the Jivatma does not die. Only the physical body loses its physical structure. The mind, the intellect with the Atman inside, that is the subtle body. And that subtle body, by the power called Udana, one of the 5 powers we have, is shot like a satellite into a space which is unknown beyond our imagination. But we use the word Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg, for that particular Mula Prakriti. And we all stay there. What would happen when we go there? We wait for the Lord to show mercy and say, right, it's time for you, go to different stations, like the postmaster sorting out the letters. Depending upon your thought imprints, what you have already got, vasanas, in that subtle mind of yours, he directs you to the right birth, at the right place, in the right environment. And his only purpose is to get rid of your vasanas. We'll go through the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga to take that aspect of further. But Mula Prakriti is that one, where all of our subtle bodies, our ancestors, everyone will be there till the God sends it back. Now, the 10 senses, the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of knowledge. The mind, the sense objects, everything in the world which is beyond me is the sense object. Really speaking, the sense objects do include our physical body. Please remember, because we love our body so much, it becomes a sense object. Then desire, hatred, pain, pleasure, intelligence, dhriti is a firm resolve, and their modification. All of this from Shloka 7 to 11 in Kshetra, Kshetrajna Vibhaga Yoga, the God says that is Anatma. This is not Atma. Only ever changeless, constant is Paramatma, Parabrahma, cosmic energy. He is known as Kshetrajna. Now I'll go to the Sloka which has already been said. Okay, I'll just go to the Sloka. You have got all the meaning of some of the words there. Amanitvam. So humility, absence of pretension, non-injury, fortitude, uprightness, service of the teacher, purity, steadfastness, self-control. It continues for the next 20 qualities which we have asked them to project. So have a look at that. These are the qualities of a jnani. Really, acquiring total perfection of these 20 qualities, it is almost taking us to the Parabrahman. But unfortunately, we have a habit. We take one, we discard one. We lose one. So we never have all the 20 qualities always with us. If we have it, maybe for a day or two, and soon we are going to lose one of those. So keeping constantly those 20 qualities. That's why Lord Krishna is also given the title Achyuta, the one who does not fall. The one who has acquired the 20 qualities and does not drop any one of those qualities is Achyuta. But whereas we are Chuta, we keep on dropping. We climb up the Mount Everest, but immediately we are hungry for oxygen. We are feeling dizzy because at the top of Mount Everest, what is there? Apart from the peak, dizziness wherever you look around. So you lose your balance. So self-perfection, according to the Lord, is true jnanam. And amanitvam is humility. What is humility? Not expecting praise from others. You may have knowledge, you are a professor, but you should not. Basically, many of the institutions, the one who goes to the level of professor hasn't got humility. But the one who was a lecturer, who was a student before, starts off with a pride. And when he goes into assistant professor promotion and a higher promotion, he gets more and more pride in him. But the one who does post-doctorate and takes up the professor post is the last one he doesn't really have, because post-doctorate person is an absent-minded professor. So he hasn't got the humility. The person who has got no humility is the one who always wants to show off. And whereas the absent-minded professor doesn't even bother about the way he's dressed. Pride eventually leads one to ruin. The example we have is Vishwamitra. Vashishta and Vishwamitra are the two great rishis in our mythological stories. The word Vishwamitra has a good connotation. Vishwamitra. He is a friend of the universe. Why? He has taken all the trouble of showing the faults in him and how he has suffered, so that by reading his story, we know that Vishwamitra suffered that. So we must learn not to fall in the trap. Every time you want to achieve something, Vishwamitra said, I want to get this title. He goes up to the ladder, then get caught by one of the desires and automatically falls down. If Vishwamitra did not fall down from that level, Bharatakanda would not have been there. Shakuntala would not have been there. Am I right? So, he is a Vishwamitra, he has brought us all into this world. Now, adambitvam, absence of pretension. When you know something, fine, give an answer to the teacher who asked the question, or for a person who has got a doubt. But nowadays, in the university education, we have a change of habit. The beautiful method of having the computer and going through all the different things, suddenly the student the previous day with the chapter he has got goes through one particular aspect and comes back next day, wants to test the teacher. Does the teacher know this? And the teacher is not a clever person. Similarly, in medical profession, we have patients coming to us. We are also human beings. We can't have the total perfection of knowledge, but we have the basic knowledge and some specialty knowledge we have. But we need time to go back after hearing your symptoms and then analyze with what knowledge we have, go back to the text and come back with a diagnosis. We are not there to give instant diagnosis like on the computer. People always say, I have got this disease. This doctor did not diagnose the disease because he doesn't know. And that is adambitvam, pretension. You should have modesty when you are in search of knowledge. And then only you will get the answer. Drop the feeling, I am the best. The best student in the class always wants to show off because he wants to get the attention of the teacher. Ahimsa, no cruelty or harm to other beings, either in thought, speech, or action. Mano Vakkaya. The example we have of Ahimsa are the two great people, Mahatma Gandhi and Lord Jesus. What did they say? Learn the art of showing the other cheek. Now, a lot of people may have a lot of questions on this issue, that aspect of showing the other cheek. I'm not going to get into controversy. It is your own method of accepting the statement and acting on that and face the situation around you. Kshanti. Kshanti is forbearance. Titikshatva. It's known as endurance. Endure all the problems in the life as Purva Janma Krita. My own actions of the past out of ignorance. I must have been a bhogi, and I must practice to become a yogi. It's the greatest and most potent medicine for a spiritual seeker. I have to drop at this point for a short second because Puja Appaji made a command this morning, and he said, I must bring some aspect of my life to explain what is happening. I don't want to go into detail because I think each person's life is his own personal thing. But having taken Appaji's command, I will briefly make this statement. But everyone, please remember, you must learn the art of looking at things with a wider perspective of your problems. When you start looking at it a wider perspective, your problems look so small. But instead of that, we close ourselves as soon as your problem comes, the entire world, and feel sorry for ourselves. The first thing in any problem is not feeling sorry for yourself. The second point to remember is that if you follow with faith the Shastras say we have had previous births. Now, accepting this as a firm statement and believing in that statement, if I had previous birth, then as I said here, I must have been a bhogi. And as a bhogi, I have committed a number of mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly. In this birth, I am probably thinking I've got a knowledge, or I'm trying to get knowledge. And that way, I am able to understand that things wrong I have done in a wrong perspective. I have gone affecting or hurting people or hurting the teacher in any form you think. But because of that, you have a negative point. So you keep on accumulating the negative points in your past life. Now, God is with you all the time. But what He says is, I want you to get rid of your vasanas, the thought imprints. Because negative points keep on adding more and more thought imprints into you. If you decide that the Lord is merciful, the mercifulness comes only when the policeman catches the thief. Till the day of catching the thief was living in a life of guilt. Any moment the doorbell rings, he thinks, is it the policeman that's coming to the door? So you have a constant fear in the background that you will be caught, because you know in your own mind you are guilty. And for that guilt, you expect a punishment, but you want to hold back. A person who is in the process of acquiring knowledge would always wish that I pay the penalty for my mistakes. Unless you pay so, you are not going nearer to the God. And that aspect is the lesson that has been given to me by the blessings of the God. Now, what happens? If you have done one mistake, it is probably 1 year in jail. But if you have done 10 mistakes, concomitant 10 years in the jail. If you have done 100 mistakes, a life imprisonment. But each one of those takes into account. They say that you got 250 years of punishment in the jail, but you spend rest of your time in the jail. That's why some of the judges give their verdict. Now, if they do so, the beauty of it is, at the end of having paid all the penalty, when he comes out, he is a free man, because he has paid the penalty for the wrongs he has done. That means he has got free access to go to the God. So similarly, if you are suffering now, if you are having a major suffering in your life, then consider that the God is looking at you, not at a person who is enjoying, because everybody puts a question. He is a sinner, he is enjoying. Why is the Lord not looking at him? No, the Lord is looking at you because he has got mercy towards you. The Lord is not bothered about the man who is a bhogi. He says, let him do what he wants. But for you, who is in the process of acquiring the knowledge, he says, now I am coming to you, I have taken notice of what you have done, I will give you what is needed to be done, and now I am making you a free person. That is one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is Kunti Devi's example. Kunti Devi, when Lord Krishna completed the whole Mahabharata war, and now it was time for him to go to Dwaraka. So he comes and asks for blessings from the elders and bye-bye to the people of his own age group. So he goes to Kunti Mata and says, Auntie, please give me permission to leave. And Kunti Mata says, what a person you are. When we had all the troubles, you stayed with us. But now, our troubles are finished, you are going away. So, do you want God to be with you? Can you raise hands and say how many of you want God to be with you? That's great. But then, do you want problems and pains and sufferings in your life? No. So, it's contrary to the statement. So, I'm not saying ask for pains to come, but ask for God to take mercy on you and take count of your mistakes and give you whatever that is needed for that, so that you are free to go in the path of jnana. That is what Appaji wanted me to say. Now, develop the quality of accepting sukha and dukkha with an attitude of this will also pass away. The sukha also has to pass away. You got a first rank medal, but that's only for that week till the newspaper comes to your house and takes a photograph and says you're a great man. But then, in the college, when you go there, you are no more, you are just like any other student. So that also has to pass away. Now, dukkha is the same thing. Arjavam is uprightness. It's the true quality of a true Brahmana, who should be honest and sincere. And this aspect I'm going to dwell more, that is Acharyopasanam. There are 2 shlokas in this particular shatka that bring this word Acharyopasanam. Because of Guru Purnima, let us take the sankalpa that we are going to conduct Acharyopasanam. So can we all say Acharyopasanam karishye?
Acharyopasanam karishye.
Without knowing the meaning, you all said yes. You don't know what it means. So you're bound by your promise. Okay? 1. Service of the teacher. Without the blessings of Sadguru, no progress in spiritual life. Humbleness in the presence of Guru. Physical service of the teacher. Service to his institution, ashrama. Service to his devotees. Service to the needy. Following the advice of the teacher. Total devotion to the Guru with Shraddha and Bhakti. Listen to his preachings. Implement them and spread the glory of the teacher. That is Acharyopasana. So if you want, I can give that to you afterwards. So put it in your household and say what you have fulfilled out of those for Acharyopasana. Shaucham, we already have heard so many times, the purity. Stairyam. So what resolve we have taken, now you should be having stairyam. Firm resolve. Yes, I will do it. I know it's going to be hard, but I'll do it. Determined and resolute, because you want to walk in the spiritual path, which you cannot alter. You have taken that road, follow the road to the end, because the guide, the Guru, has lit the light for you to go in that path. If you decide to go back, you are on your own. Should have a firm conviction about the spiritual journey and the final aim of it. That is, I am not going to be there anymore, is the final aim. Not I am going to heaven or I am going to get moksha. I am not there. I am annihilated, is the attitude to take. Then Atma Vinigraha. Now, in this context, Atma means not the Atman we are talking of. It is the Jiva. It is the mind and the senses. Shama, Dhamma. Atma Vinigraha is Shama, Dhamma. Mind thoroughly brought under the control. And this is Gitopadesham scene, but I'm not going to come to that. When we finish all the 18 chapters, I'll go along to that. So I have taken a lot of time for this particular chapter because this is the chapter that deals with jnana. And it's very important that we must know in more detail.